Today we will be discussing the justification of the use of self-defense in order to defend oneself against the unlawful force of another. The law provides that an individual is justified in using force if that person reasonably believes, and that's the key, the reasonable belief that use of force is necessary, immediately necessary, to protect oneself against the use of unlawful force or attempted unlawful force on the part of another. That key element is reasonable belief, and the reasonably prudent person standard is the standard upon which the actions of the actor is based. In other words, if the individual cannot meet the reasonably prudent person standard, that is, would a reasonably prudent person use deadly force or force to repel the use of unlawful force by another in the same circumstances that the actor finds him or herself, then that individual cannot use justification of self-defense. Another key point here is that you can view the actions of the actor in apprehending or in appreciating the force that is being used against you from the standpoint of the actor. For instance, if the actor reasonably believes that such force is necessary to repel, then you view that from the standpoint of the actor himself. That leads us to the issue of apparent versus real danger. It is obvious that if the actor believes, even though the danger is not real, the actor reasonably that the danger is real, even though it's apparent, justification of self-defense can be used with the jury and can be instructed as a defense to the jury by the court. Something that's very important. Retreat is not necessary. If an individual is faced with the unlawful use of non-deadly or deadly force, the individual can, in fact, use whatever force is necessary to defend that person against the apparent nature of death and or some type of bodily impairment, and does not have to leave the scene, flee, things of that fashion. Whatever dictates from the standpoint of the actor itself, using that reasonably prudent person standard is what's vital in this particular situation. Lastly, it's important to understand that you can use the violent character of the deceased in self-defense, and the actor doesn't need to know that the individual does have a violent character. Acts of violence, reputation for violence on the part of the deceased can all be admitted in evidence if the issue is the aggressiveness of the actor. Who was the aggressor in this particular instance? The actor doesn't know or doesn't need to know that the deceased had a violent character. However, if the issue is fear on the part of the actor, that is, the actor is fearful of the deceased, the actor must know if there is a violent character available to produce to the jury, must know about the acts of violence of the deceased, and must know about the violent character of the deceased for those acts and that character to become admissible in front of the jury. Lastly, it's basically an issue of common sense. You take a look at the situation. You don't take a baseball bat and clobber somebody in the head if that individual is about ready to give you a shove or to commit a simple assault. That's just not a common sense situation, and that's something that a reasonably prudent person wouldn't do in that particular type of situation. So use your common sense and get that information on the deceased background in front of that jury if at all possible.